Hi yogis, I'm Daphne. Today's practice is going to be a short yin practice, working with finding some inner peace and controlling any anxiety or stress that we may have. So we're going to go straight into our first posture. Each posture is 3 minutes hold. So we're going to bring the feet together. We have lots of props and cushions around us. You can sit on them, you can pop them underneath your knees. Just going to get my little timer here. Take an inhale and exhale. We're going to take a nice little bow all the way into the posture. You're just bringing an awareness as to how you're feeling in this posture before you move any deeper. Take another inhale and exhale takes you a little bit deeper again. And now you can bow your head if it feels appropriate to you. So working with these yin postures, we're just trying to find our inner peace. It's always there. Just going to try and find it in this practice. And we do that by really focusing on the breath. Just being aware of your natural breath, your inhales and your exhales. So we know that yoga is so beneficial. From the psychological point of view, yoga sharpens the mind and concentration, and it helps to calm the emotions. It also encourages us to be aware of the needs of others, and it also has the capacity to give us amazing hope. You're halfway through this 3-minute hold. Feel free to go a little bit deeper if you want to, or ease off. Back issues, you may not want to round the back that much. You may want to keep this posture fairly upright. And if you have sciatica, you may want to keep your spine quite straight in these forward folds. So just be aware of your breath, the inhales, the exhales. Bringing an awareness of inner calm and the ability to just be still. Three more breaths. And then rising very slowly all the way up, nice and slowly. We went in slowly to the posture. Let's come out of the posture slowly. Maybe move away the cushions if you have them. And then we're just going to separate those feet, plant them on the mat or the floor. You don't need a yoga mat for this practice. And just have your knees wide apart. Bring your fingertips behind you, pointing to your buttocks, and we're just going to go to the right and to the left. So it's just really getting some energy in the hips and the lower back. Your yin practice is generally always focused on the lower part of the body. Nice easy breathing. And then we're going to move into our next posture, which will involve the knees somewhat. So make sure that your knee feels quite comfortable. You're going to bring your legs long in front of you. And you're going to take your left knee in and open it. Now you can have these cushions to just allow you to let that knee relax. Or if it's too painful, you can always take the leg out of the equation completely. And another nice tip, maybe you can always pop something, a little old sock or something in between the back of the knee, and that will also help you get into that posture. Take an inhale, it's 3 minutes. We're coming straight down that front leg. Exhale into it. 3 minutes. And again, be aware of your breath. Bow your head if it feels appropriate. Keep the spine straight if you have sciatica. Keep your gaze more lifted and your spine more straight, or any serious back issues. Forward bends are not for you if you have back issues. We're really stressing the deeper tissues of the body, stressing the joints, the joint capsules, really awakening the body. Now, with regards to your yoga, the most important issue, regardless of age or fitness level or expertise, as we practice our yoga, is not the flexibility and the ability to do challenging postures, but to have full awareness. Awareness of the body and the breath. So be aware now of all the sensations that are being created in your body right at this moment. And we let the breath move the body. So as you take an inhale, you may lift a little bit, and exhale may take you deeper into your posture. So let the breath move the body. Even as a beginner in yoga, with awareness and control, you will be able to do the postures with grace and elegance to your own ability. A truly important note is that to be aware of a resolution to avoid pain. We don't want pain in yoga, either in our yin practice or in our flowing practices. We do not want pain. Pushing yourself into a stretch or posture will only cause injury. So just have full awareness of what's happening. Make sure you're not in pain. You want to feel a nice, deep, opening stretch. Three more breaths. And then slowly again we rise, nice and slowly. As we went into the posture, we'll come out slowly. We'll take that knee back to center and long legs. You're hopefully going to start to feel it a little bit now. We're just going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So again, bring it in, and remember both knees are never the same. Open the leg, cushions to support you. Cushions go under your buttocks if you want to go a little bit deeper forward folding. Take an inhale, take an inhale and exhale. Yin certainly moves everything around. Just take a bow. And again, we focus on that breath, that beautiful breath that's moving the body. Inhale is a slight lift, and exhale is the bow. And then we settle into our stillness. Where is the deepest sensation you're feeling right now at this particular moment? Bringing mindfulness and awareness into your practice. Is this side more challenged than the other side? How is your breath? Is your breath smooth and calm? So there will be nice long silent moments for you really to get in touch with what's happening in the mind, what's happening with the breath, and what's happening with the sensations of the body. We've just passed the halfway mark of this 3-minute hold. Being aware of the stillness, the peace, opening of the body. Take your focus now to your last 3 inhales and exhales in this posture. And then very slowly we'll rise all the way up, nice and slowly. And bringing that knee safely back and long legs. And we'll have a little massage. Oh, that feels nice. And now we're going to open the legs quite wide. Please feel free to sit on your cushion. And if you have tight hamstrings, you'll certainly know about it in this posture. So you can always pop the cushions underneath your knees, or you can have bent legs. Entirely up to you. You can also have the cushion in front. So we're going to take an inhale and exhale, find our first edge. So you can also have quite a straight back and hold on to the head if your neck is not happy at the moment. And the timer is on. You can have your feet flexed, or you can have them floppy. You can have them in or out, it doesn't really matter. Just be aware of the posture, how you particularly feel in the posture, and remember that we avoid any areas of pain. Shooting, burning, tingling, they're all indications of pain. We avoid all of those. So what we're trying to do is find our inner peace. If we want to transform our life and be free from problems, we must learn to transform our mind. Feel free to bow your head at any time. When things go wrong in our life and we encounter difficult situations, we tend to regard the situation itself as the problem. But in reality, whatever problems we experience come from the mind. If we were to respond to difficulties with a positive or peaceful mind, they would not be problems for us. Indeed, we may even regard them as challenges or opportunities for growth and development. And I'm sure throughout this COVID period that we've all found different aspects of our life that we have been changing, growth and development. The problems arise only if we respond to situations with a negative state of mind.
Therefore, if we want to transform our life and be free from problems, we must learn to transform our mind. Sufferings, problems, worries, unhappiness, and pain all exist within the mind. They are unpleasant feelings, which are part of the mind. Through controlling and purifying our mind, we can stop them once and for all. Your last 3 breaths in this posture. And then slowly we'll rise all the way up, nice and slowly. And we'll just pick up the back of the knees. Ooh. You're really working into these adductors, these inner thigh areas as well. And then straight legs. Oh, that feels nice. And then fingertips behind you, so we can lift up the heart and have a back bend. I'll show you. Stay where you are. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So just lifting up your heart in the back bend. And then come back to neutral. And again, lift up the heart for the back bend. And then come back to neutral. I'm going to take a posture called child posture, just for a few breaths. Now, if you're not happy on your knees in your child posture, you can always come onto your back. So an option would be to have this as your child posture. And if you're happy on your knees, you'll simply roll over and come onto the knees. A nice easy breathing. You can have your hands onto your heels if you want, if that's more appropriate, or you can have your hands underneath your forehead or the cushion underneath the forehead. Or you can even pop the cushion in between your buttocks and the back of your legs if that feels more appropriate. We're just really doing a nice counter posture from those forward bends. So one more breath. And then slowly we're going to lay on our tummies, have the cushion at the front of the mat. And let's take your arms over the cushions. So each of these postures are 3 minutes. With the back bend, which we're doing at the moment, you may want to have more passive back bend, so you can always just place your forehead on the top of your hands. Or you can go a little bit deeper if you want to, removing the cushion and coming into Sphinx. So again, it's a 3-minute hold. And while we're here, we'll talk about the wisdom of Buddha. And Buddha has 2 words, dukkha and sukha. And Buddha defines dukkha as birth. Imagine the pain of birth as you enter into the earth. Dukkha is aging. None of us want to age. Dukkha is sickness, illness, anxiety, and stress. It's also death. Dukkha is also getting things you don't want and not getting the things that you do want. These are the facts of life. They occur to everybody, that's life. But how we react to dukkha is called suffering, and suffering is optional. If you're going to experience life, you're going to experience dukkha. But our reaction to our problems is something we can change. We don't need to add to the suffering of our problems. So how often in the past have you had a problem and you've magnified it? It's now become a huge problem because you've been adding and adding. What if he says this? What if she says that? What if they don't turn up? What if this happens? What if that happens? It's all the what ifs. And that's dukkha. You're adding to your suffering. What will be, will be. We can't change anything, but we can change our reaction to how we respond to these things that are happening into our life. There is also another word that dukkha talks about, which is sukha. And sukha is pleasure, happiness, joy, and bliss. Well, the good news is that yoga is the path of sukha. If you're practicing regularly, yoga brings more and more sukha into our lives. Because by practicing it helps us to understand the nature of suffering, including its causes and cures. So the yoga tradition provides a proven path towards greater levels of well-being, towards opening and centering our hearts towards more sukha. And to find more sukha, we begin to be more mindful in our daily lives, being more appreciative of what's happening, not what's happening in the future or what's happened in the past, but what's happening right now. So we're going to find a little bit of sukha by coming out of this posture. So just lay down, hands underneath the shoulders, elbows draw in, and we move very, very slowly. So we just rise up through that cobra, and then we come onto the knees. And you're going to want to work slowly in this posture. Coming out of the posture is the sukha, the joy. Walk your knees in and stay here for a breath. And then we return to that same child posture. So you can either go on your back or we return to child posture. So just a nice release into child posture. And all that's a little bit of sukha. That's a bit of joy and bliss as we release into this posture. So we're going to come onto our backs now, just for our final movements, and they're all a little bit of sukha. They're all a bit of joy and bliss. So lay down on your back, feet flat onto the mat, knees together, feet together. And then we're going to take the knees into the chest and have a little rock and a roll. You have options here, just to stay here, or you can take your hands behind the knees and draw the knees towards the armpits, separating the knees. You can also slide your hands to the ankles and draw the knees a little bit closer in towards the armpits. Or you can turn your feet towards the ceiling and maybe grab either the inside of the feet or the outside of the feet. And then we can have a little roll around. It's called Happy Baby. Just rolling around. Happy baby, no problems, no stress. Just a deep release to that lower back and a nice stretch into the hips and the hips joints. And then we'll bring the knees together, feet flat onto the mat. We're going to take a nice gentle twist to finish our practice. Take your arms nice and wide. Feel free to have your cushion if you want to. You're going to take the knees all the way over and maybe pop the cushion under the knees, or if you want, you can even pop it in between the knees or not have it at all. So your choice. Your knees go one direction, your gaze goes in the opposite direction to the knees, and we just finish with a nice gentle twist. And then slowly we'll come back to the center. We'll draw the knees into the chest. Little roll around on that lower back, sacrum. And then feet flat, knees together, feet together, opposite direction, using your cushion if you want to. And we gaze away from the knees.
And then slowly we'll come back to the center, knees over chest. Our final little rock and roll. You can pop that cushion underneath your knees if you want to. The legs are going to go long, with or without the cushion. We're only here for a minute, just letting the body resettle down onto the mat. And a good analogy of dukkha and sukha is imagine a very dark, miserable, cloudy day, black clouds up above you. And that's really quite dukkha. But we know that beyond the black clouds is blue sky, and that's sukha. So there's always joy. There's always something that you can find in your life. So please don't add to the dukkha. Just be aware of the sukha. Feel free to stay here a lot longer if you wish to. I'm going to come up to seated, feet flat onto the mat, roll over to the side. We're coming up into a seated position. So thank you for joining me. Make sure today's day is going to be a sukha day and not a dukkha day. Namaste.